なら成功しちゃいましたよ。だってあんな両親だけど少しは善良な心があるってずっとどこか期待していた気持ちが綺麗さっぱりな私に妹である資格な。
The Two Perfect Saint episode 8, my friends. This anime continues to be one of the best romance animes of the year so far. And I don't even want to say it's completely romance because we really, I kind of want to remove that from the genre. This has been one of the best fantasy anime we've gotten this year. Now it is in the romance subgenre, or I think that's the main category, but we haven't gotten a ton of romance, but that's okay. Because what the Two Perfect Saint has done is it has stood above the rest this season. And I know that there's not a lot of people watching this show because I don't see it on the anime rankings. I don't see Philia or Mia on like the, you know how they do like, oh, who's the best girl of the week or who's the best femc or MC of the week or whatever. I don't see this show on, or I don't see the characters of this show on any of those. And I also don't see us on any of the rankings. Again, I might not be looking in the right spots. I'm decently involved on Twitter. I'm on Reddit a little bit. You know, obviously I'm on YouTube. So maybe I'm not in the right spots, but I don't see it. So if you guys see it, let me know in the comments. But the point I want to make is I think that if you are like me, which obviously you are, because we're right here, you know, we're, you know, big, you know, homies and homegirls right here. Bop, bop. Then we know that we are witnessing and watching and are a part of something pretty special. You know, a show that's pretty special that one would categorize this, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now as like a hidden gem of like, you know, the 10 anime that you didn't know existed that you should watch. You know what I mean? This will definitely be part of those lists. And I think for all of us who are a part of it, I think we're witnessing and getting to be a part of a really, really good anime. Now, the reason I want to start the show off like that is because at episode number 8, like what an episode this episode was, right? Like we got introduced to Philia's mom this episode, which is incredible. And it tied into one of the things that her sister Mia had been saying for a long time. It's like, oh, you know, Philia looks so much like Auntie. She looks so much like her. Like she looks like, you know, so much like her. Like, and it makes sense, right? You know, genes passed out a certain way. It's possible. Like, you know, I think I look like one of my uncles. You know what I mean? Like it's possible that, you know, when you have like really strong familial genes, that, you know, they could transcend, you know, your cousin, you know, you can look like your cousin. People have to say like, oh, me and my sister, me and my cousin, you know, look exactly the same, or my nephew looks just like me, or my niece looks just like me, you know, or my grandma, I look just like my grandma. That's just the way that genes work. You don't necessarily have to be, you know, directly from it. So it makes sense, you know, that she looks a little, you know, very similar, but at the same time, very different. But it makes even more sense now. And it's such a sad story about Philia's mom, as she's kind of telling Mia, you know, because she got a letter from Philia to go and protect Mia. You know, she wants to adopt her now because the family that she's a part of is in shambles and is being threatened by the piece of shit, you know, Prince Julius at this point. So the Audonir, however you say it, the Audonir family is basically going to be on the cusp of like, they're going to be gone. So Fiona, I think her name's Fiona, which is Philia's mom, is saying, oh, I will adopt Mia, and she'll do it through familial, you know, ties and saint stuff. As long as Mia accepts, that way she can kind of get her out of that family. And then as far as Philia, she's already, you know, engaged or, you know, going to be engaged to the prince over there, and she's that country's saint. So whatever happens here, truly, they can't really, you know, just because she has family name, they can't get her. But Mia is a potential, could be, you know, at a loss here through just ties, you know, and Oswald over there is taking care of Philia. So through that, we learned the very, very awful story of Mia's parents, or her brother, you know, Fiona's brother, was going to be the head of the Audonir family. And him and his wife couldn't conceive a child. Well, it was needed because they're the saint family. So because the sister was pregnant with child with some other person, they basically stole her kid from her under the guise of all these things. And that's why she was so harsh on Philia, is she was trying to build her up, you know, through motherly love, but then also try and build her up so that she wouldn't ever be at the disposal of the things that she had to deal with. So very, very sad stuff. The fact that you had to raise your own child, but you didn't raise your own child at the same time, like bullshit, right? Very heartbreaking. And at the same time, her betrothed, the Philia's dad, apparently fell ill and, passed away. So he wasn't a part to go and protect Fiona at that part as well, too. So just a very sad and tragic story for Philia's, mom being controlled and manipulated by this family, even though that she was this country's saint at some point as well, too. So just extremely, heartbreaking. And for Mia, that just broke her heart even more because, at least she knew her parents are awful, but at least, they produced them, they produced them. And she realized on like what Philia really had to go through of, the reason she was treated this way is because she really wasn't their kid. And she just feels a lot of remorse. And I think she's ready to cut ties. So just an emotional journey of an episode and just really, really, really good. And it makes you feel really sorry for her mom. And obviously Philia's still looking out for her and everything else. But like, wow, just what an episode. Like it was truly, heart-wrenching, tear-jerking. Like it was just a really, really rough story to hear, but in a positive way towards like, oh man, it got me in the feels, got me in the emotions. Because like that last thing as a parent you want to do is let go of your child in that sense, like it's just crazy. So I love that, she is doing this for her, for her daughter. And it also makes sense on why Philia always has like these really strong emotional ties to her auntie. Although, she sees her, she knows she's her aunt and her family. She treats her better and blah, blah, blah. But she has like, there's just like this unspoken bond that she probably can't put into words. And that's the explanation for it. It's like, that's actually your mama. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening from here. But wow, what an incredible episode. Two Perfect Saint continues to be, this is like a 9 out of 10 for me. I think it continues to be like an 8, like a really strong 8 out of 10 anime. Which is the weirdest part of it. I know I've mentioned it more than once. Is the episode 1 wasn't very strong, but then after has just been incredible. And I love the pivot to where Mia has kind of been our main character, which I think is really cool too. So I can't wait to see what ends up happening. With the secondary prince kind of waking up and challenging his other prince or his little brother, and yeah, I think it just continues to be fun. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week for episode number 9. But what an episode, guys! I'll see you then. Have a good week. Peace.